Hey, what's going on guys, Patrick here with Land and Ocean, and today I'm coming at you from my living room floor because I just moved into a new place and I haven't had the time to actually set up anything yet. But that's not going to stop us from making a cool video today. So in today's video, I'm revealing my secrets to getting insane low light shots with your drone. And I've seen a couple of videos covering this topic and they basically said that you cannot do it with like a Mavic or a Phantom or that kind of a drone, but I'm here today to show you that is completely wrong and that you actually can do it. So the first tip that I got for you guys is to choose the right location to do your flight in, because obviously you're not flying around with a ISO beast like the A7S II. It's just like a DJI camera. So you want to have some ambient light present. This can be from like buildings, a football stadium, some houses, whatever that spills out light, that's where you want to fly. And obviously, depending on where you are, you want to check that you don't fly in a restricted airspace. So for tip number 2, you want to forget everything you know about shutter rules, because today we're dumping the shutter all the way down to 1/25th of a second. And we can do this because the drone is going to be so high up in the air that when you move it, the motion blur isn't really going to show anyway. And this will allow us to get one full stop of extra light into the sensor, which is great, right? So just dump your shutter all the way down to 1/25th of a second. So tip number 3 is to use your ISO. I mean, don't be afraid to use it. It's there for a reason. I know the Mavic and Phantom aren't really ISO beasts, but you can easily push it up to like 400, 800 without really breaking your sweat. So don't be afraid to like try out 800, see how it looks. And you can also shoot something 400 if you're not completely sure what you're gonna get, but like use your ISO. It's there for a reason. So tip number 4 is picture profile. And obviously when it's dark, you don't really need to shoot flat because there's no dynamic range to be given. Even though you're shooting flat, it's dark and there are some light points, right? So don't shoot flat, just shoot in the D-Cinelike and then drop the sharpness to -1. And you'll be good, because then you will have way less noise and you will have a cleaner image that is easier to work with. So the 5th and final tip today is going to be in the editing process, because there's quite a specific way to edit these shots to make them look a certain way. And I want to show you that. So let's hop on over to the computer and I will show you. Alright guys, so here we are in Premiere Pro and I've imported shots from the video so you kind of know what we're dealing with here, and I'm going to show you, just like break it down to you, what goes into making it look like this so that you can do the same thing. Now if you look in the effects control here, the first thing you will notice is the denoiser that I have on. And this is not because there's a lot of noise in the shot, it's simply because I want to remove the tiny amount that is present to make it just like absolutely perfect. But you don't have to do this, but if you do want to, it's called Magic Bullet Denoiser. So this is before and after, and it's really no difference almost, it's just like the darkest areas. But in the Lumetri color, that's where the magic happens, and let's take a look at it. Alright, so let's start with the basic correction. Well, I can show you what it looks like before and after first, and then you get an idea of what we're working towards. And maybe that's easier to understand then. So if I toggle it off, you can see this is the before, and toggle it back on, this is the after. So the first thing you'll notice is that I have my temperature all the way down here, and this is simply because I was lazy when I shot this. I didn't set my white balance properly, so I had to correct that in editing. So don't worry about the white balance, it's probably just my clip that is a bit weird. You will have to judge for yourself in your clip. So let's start in the basic tone here, and you can tell that I have just a tiny amount of contrast in the image. It's not a lot, because what happens is that the image becomes very dark. Now for the highlights, I boost them all the way up here, the same with the whites. And this creates a really nice like pop to the image. It looks a lot more nice in my opinion, because look what happens if I just take these down to normal. You can see, well, yeah, obviously the image is a bit darker, but it's just like less popping in a way. So I like to keep them quite high. Obviously I don't want them to be at 150%, but I definitely want it quite high. And now for the shadows, you can play around with this depending on how much you want to show or not, but I like to have it around 0 with this clip, because then it's not too bright where it's just weird, and it's not too dark where I don't see anything. It's just right bang in the middle. Now over to the creative tab. Once again, I'm using my own LUT that I used in the color grading video. And once again, I'll put the download link in the description so you can pick it up for free. and use it for yourself. So this is what the LUT does, and as you can tell, it really does wonders with the colors, and this is exactly what the LUT is designed to do. We went over this in the color grading video, but once again, download link in the description for the LUT. And now if you're not using the noiser, I would recommend you to put like some sort of sharpening in here, maybe like 10-15%. But since the denoiser already comes with a sharpening in it, I don't need to do that because I have the denoiser on it. Now let's take a look inside the curves, and as you can see here, there's quite a bit going on. Now in the basic curve, it's pretty flat, there's really nothing special going on. But down in the hue versus saturation, I've decreased the yellows because like I said in my grading video, I'm not a fan of the greenish and yellowish colors, especially with low light shots. Now the oranges and the reds, I've boosted them a little bit. You can find your own way here. It's just my style of doing it, and it's working out pretty good for me. So and the blues, I've desaturated them simply because they were a little bit out of hand. Like I couldn't control the blues in these areas here. So I've desaturated them, and I will add blues in later. Now for the hue versus hue, same thing here with the oranges. I've just shifted the yellows more up towards an orange. And I've pulled the blues ever so slightly down from teal more towards a more standard blue, I should say. So that's basically all that does. And now let's take a look at color wheels finally, and you can see the midtones and the shadows have slight amounts of blue in them. And like I said, I decreased the blue in the image to control it here later. And I've also upped the midtones ever so slightly and decreased the highlights with a little bit. And this is everything that goes into creating the look. And once again, if we take it on and off, you can see this is the before and this is the after. So that is pretty much it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a like and a comment if you did. And also make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Anyways, that's it for now, and I'll see you all later.